Alright guys, welcome aboard. Got ourselves a new airplane to fly here. I picked up the Aerobask Eclipse 550 here. I was looking for a light jet, and it was between this one and the Cessna Citation. And I don't know, this one just kind of filled the bill for, you know, its performance wise, and I like the Avionics package and stuff, which we'll see once we jump into the plane here. Let's go ahead and jump inside, get her fired up, and thought we'd do a little shakedown flight here. I've already done a couple of flights, you know, offline with this plane, and really liking it, learning the systems and everything, and you know, how things work. I think I got all the kinks ironed out, and should be ready to go. So we're going to fly from Gillespie Field in San Diego, and we're going to go over to Sedona, or not Sedona. We're going to go to Scottsdale, Arizona, and see how this thing performs. It's kind of a windy day here in the southwest. Let's get her fired up. What do we got to do here? Let's see. We get our bus ties on, get our starter battery on, system battery on, let everything fire up here. And I'm going to go ahead, and we've already got our beacon on, it looks like, so we'll leave that as is. Cabin air, we're going to turn to off. That's kind of our pseudo packs. Window defrost can come off too right now. I think I just reset this flight, so a couple of switches may already be on, like flight director right there. Alright, click OK here, click OK here, and I know I like to have my autopilot down here on this screen. We got a flight plan over here. Let's go ahead, before we fire everything up, let's jump in here, get rid of this flight plan. Here's a test flight that I was doing. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, actually I'll do it on this one here. Flight plan, let's go menu, delete, hit OK. Alright, we're going to be starting out at Gillespie, which is KSEE. Click on that. We're going to Scottsdale, which is, let me double check, KSDL. KSDL. Punch that in. And we're basically going to be going sort of IFR/VFR, so no arrivals, no departures or anything like that. We could select our departure here. We're going to take off runway 27 right. We're not going to do any of the published departures because we really don't have to. So we'll hit none there. Arriving here, again, we could do an arrival. We're not sure what runway we're going to have, but we'll select an approach here. And currently, the weather in Scottsdale is winds out of the east, well, correction, out of the south at 9. So, let's see. That would probably go for a runway 21. Let's see what we got. We got an RNAV, RNAV D, RNAV E, and just VOR. We'll do the RNAV here. We'll do RNAV D. No transitions or anything. We'll just vector ourselves around. Hit none, none, none. All right, and let's take a look at this. So we've got a couple of things here, a couple of waypoints, but we're actually gonna, so I can come out here, and we can go to plan on our large screen here, and I don't know if we're going to zoom in, zoom out. Nothing showing up there yet. Nope, hit back. Yeah, so here's some of the kinks. Oh well. Anyway, I know what we're going to do, because we're going to take off here, and then we're actually going to get rid of some of these waypoints here. We're just going to go kind of VOR to VOR. So come back here to this guy. And let's click on that. We're going to go, is there remove? Yep, there we go. Remove waypoint, and remove waypoint. And I guess we can get rid of that. That's like the missed approach. We'll get rid of that. Yes. All right, and now we're going to add a waypoint. Actually, I'm not going to add it there. We're going to go after this, insert after. And we're going to just put in IPL, that's Imperial, VOR. And then we're going to click on this, insert after that, We're going to go to Bard, which is over in Yuma. And that is, looking for the identifier, it is BZA. BZA. There we go, Bard Yuma. And then we're going to insert another waypoint, and that's going to be our last one, which is... Actually, we could put a waypoint in there. Mohawk is an intersection, so let's put that in. Let's see, M-O-H-A-K. H-A-K. Yep. And then after that, we go over to Gila Bend, which is, what the heck is it? GBN. GBN. Gila Bend. And then right into the approach there. And we'll vector ourselves around after that. So that's it. Perfect. There's our flight plan. We'll leave that up right there. And we're actually going to go here. We're going to go, no, never mind, not that. We want to set the active waypoint here. There we go. You got to click on it. Zoom in here so I can see it. Show information, activate leg. Yep, okay, there we go. And let's see, there we go. Now you can see the actual legs into Scottsdale. Perfect. I'm just going to leave that right there. Let's get the plane fired up here. She's all ready to go. We got all those on. We got the lights on. Come up here. Go to start. Actually, where was I? It's kind of weird. Alright, there we go. We're on start. That should be on off. And we got the engine spooling up here. And what I'm going to do is make sure I got the sound turned up. At least for the start up here. And we can start both of them pretty much at the same time, I found. No need to wait. Let the engine spool up here. And while we're doing that, we'll come off of plan. Just zoom in here a little bit. Same thing over here. You can switch all these around depending on how you can, remove the flight plan, change the orientation, just have this one big screen. But this is the way I like it, so that's what I'm going to leave it at. All right, looks like we're good. We're fired up. Engines are ready to go. Let's go ahead and get our taxi lights on, and let's get out of here. Let's head over to runway 27. Turn our generators on here. Just forgetting that. We can put our defrost on. And we'll put our cabin pressurization on. Actually, I'm going to set this up to about like there. That's just how fast the cabin pressurizes. Alright, oxygen is on auto. Cabin pressure's on normal. All these switches are on. Free defrost is on. We can do a test here. Alright, that looks good. Okay. Let's get out of here as the weather updates. So, I'm going to go ahead and take the parking brake off. It takes quite a bit of power to get this thing going. And like I said, we're over here at Gillespie Field. This is, well, it should be Golden State Flying Club right there. A little bit of my grass planting has been going on here in Gillespie, using a World Editor. Now Gillespie here has got kind of a weird, there's a quirk here in X-Plane. There's a bump we're going to go over coming across this end of the runway, right about halfway through here, and you can actually see it going up and down right there. Bring the power back to the high 40s here. Go over the bump really slow. Let's go ahead and do a taxi by here, and I know this is kind of loud, but I want you to be able to hear the plane. Let's see if I can stay on the taxiway here. Here's that bump coming up. You can see it kind of comes across the runway and right through the taxiway here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out and then try to kind of go around it right here. See, that's where it is right there. Little quirk here. We go up over the top of it and back down. Yeah. I've seen other people have that same issue. All right, and we're actually going to take the shortcut here. And this is actually called the shortcut. So when you're taxiing in Gillespie, because I used to fly out of Golden State Flying Club, and taxiing from there, we'd always request the shortcut instead of going all the way around right there. So I've got to do some more planting of grass over here. I don't think I did everything for Gillespie. And let me get a little bit more comfortable here. And one other thing we can do. Okay, interior sounds, I got those down. I guess we can do master. How does that work? Turn that one down a little bit. There we go. Double check all my doors and everything. Everything's good. Windshield reflections are on. I don't like to have the reflections on here, so I'm going to keep that off. Okay, almost ready to go. Landing light on over here. We're going to get right onto the runway. Alright, flaps to take off. And we'll stop right over here. We'll set up a couple of things here before we actually go. So airspeed, I'm going to leave it at 270. Use a little dial right here to set that. Actually, what we'll do, set it for 250 for departure. Altitude wise, let's see here, we're going to go 23,000. And rate of climb, we're going to set that at 2,500. And I think that's all we got to do. Alright, everything else up here is off. The yaw dampeners off. We'll get our nav lights on. Should have had those on a little bit earlier. Alright, ready to go. Let's get out of here. And trim tab looks good. That's right there. You can tell where the trim is. And I found that this airplane, well, we'll talk about it in a little bit. It takes a little bit of runway to get off the ground. It's a little underpowered, but it's like that little train. I think I can. It'll get up to 41,000 feet. I've had it up to 38,000 feet, and it takes a little while to get up there. So you know, the 20s and low 30s is where this plane really I think shines if you're not bothered by fuel. Alright, full power here. You can see we're kind of overspeeding our engines, but we'll bring those back in a second here. This thing likes to rotate right around 100. I think we're on full fuel there. Let's get off the ground. Alright, gear up. Alright, there is 140. Go flaps up. I'm going to hit the autopilot, and you'll see it kind of jerk right there. Haven't figured out how to not have it do that. And actually what we're going to do, we're going to use our heading bug here. So I'm just going to go heading, make our turn here, and we're going to come down here and go to vertical speed. Come on, vertical speed. There we go. That should bring us up to 2,500 over here, over the mountains. And I'm going to hit my throttle hold, or speed hold here, auto throttle, and that'll actually bring us back down to the proper settings on the throttle, which is 100% N2, and you pretty much leave it there the rest of the flight, unless you're, you know, trying to save gas. Double check our heading here. We'll keep coming around to our, generally in our proper direction here. And so the auto throttle here isn't, I read it's not a, like, let me turn that down a little bit. It's not true auto throttle. It does have a little bit of quirks. I found that you can use it kind of like I'm doing it right here. So I brought the power all the way up at takeoff, and then just click auto throttle once we're up and established and on our way, and it'll bring the power back and maintain sort of max power for the airspeed 250. And these numbers here, you know, climb rate of like 2,500 feet, 250. It's what I found kind of seems to work, right? And I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring us in a little bit more here. I want to go ahead and cross into our planned course here, and then we'll engage nav and let that take over. Goodbye Gillespie and San Diego. Let's do a flyby here. This may be a little loud. Good, nice. Heard that little click. It's a little weird thing when I'm outside and I come back in with the view and I hear a click. It freaks me out. And I think our transponder should be on 2000, but it's on standby. So let's go back here. Let's go transponder on altitude. There we go. Zoom out on our primary map here. And right about 8,000 feet, I notice you can start kind of bringing down the rate of climb a little bit. You'll start seeing the airspeed sort of dropping down here in a little bit within the next, before 10,000 feet, I think, 10 or 12,000 feet. But obviously the indicated airspeed will drop down. You want to kind of keep an eye on the true airspeed right here and just sort of adjust your rate of climb to make sure you're, you know, either holding your airspeed here or it's increasing. And you can use the dial right here to do that, to increase or decrease the rate of climb. Although the labels here are backwards, it seems like. So this one down at the bottom says up. Actually, that will bring your rate of climb down. See, 2,400 there. And if you click down, it brings it back up to 2,500. So our flight plan is active. We're coming up. We actually crossed over our heading right there. So let's bring that back around using heading hold. I'm just going to hit nav right here, and you'll see it'll continue the turn and intercept that course again. All right, above 10,000 feet here. Let's go ahead and start getting cleaned up a little bit. While we get back on course, landing light on, taxi light off. Everything else can stay on. Take a look at our pressurization. It looks like it's working good here. Zoom in on it. You can see we're just over 5,000 feet here. and this is our rate that we're allowing the cabin to climb up and down. Change that. So we cleared out some of the clouds there, or up above it. Should have a decent tailwind here too, heading westward. Go ahead and bring up some music. Airspeed's starting to drop off a little bit, so I'll go ahead and bring this down to 2,000 feet per minute. We're only going up to 23,000, so shouldn't have too much of a problem climbing up there. And again, you can see the throttle 100%, pretty much. We're using a lot of fuel. Here's our fuel flow right here, this second one. I did notice when I did fly it once up to 38,000 feet, the fuel flow definitely drops down at the higher altitudes. But it takes a while to get up there because probably, well, you'll see our airspeed here. I mean, it'll start dropping off. You got to keep adjusting it. We're at 2,000 foot per minute rate of climb, and what was it? Somewhere around, probably around 24,000. You got to kind of back it down a little bit more to, once you're above like 30,000 feet, you're maybe like 32,000 feet, you're really down to like 700, maybe 600 foot per minute rate of climb, just trying to keep the airspeed up. Again, it's like the little airplane that it can, but it's got to kind of huff and puff to get up there. So the higher altitudes are good if you got a tailwind and it's a long enough flight that you can get up there and take advantage of those tailwinds. But definitely enjoying the airplane. Definitely filling the bill for what I wanted, which was I wanted a light jet that can do a little bit farther hops in within an hour, which if you take a look right here, zoom in on our chart, ETA to final 41 minutes, and that's of course taking into account our current airspeed, which you can see dropping off right here as we're coming to 20,000. So what I'm going to do is click on that, go 1800. I'm going to lower the nose here a little bit, keep our airspeed up. Another 3,000 or 2,500 to go. But yeah, 40 minutes. We should be in Phoenix pretty quick. And there's our time of arrival. Distance to the next waypoint, which is Imperial over here. Time to the next waypoint. And arrival time at the next waypoint. And the bearing to the next waypoint, which is nice. Got our winds down here. Looks like we got a decent tailwind here. Ground speed is up to 352 knots. And I think the clouds clear up as we get out into the desert here a little bit farther. So we should lose some of this stuff. Get a little bit better visibility down in the desert. And you can see on the flight plan over here, I don't know if it shows it on this one. It does have our total distance remaining, and then again it's giving us the ETE to destination. And this is kind of like duplicate. These two right here pretty much do the same thing. You know, you've got you can put the map up here. You can come over here, put the map up here. Gives you a terrain map. There's let's see here. What can we do? You can do an arc instead. A couple different features here. I like the 360. I don't need any legends or anything like that. You can change the resolution. It does impact your frame rate once you go into the high or extreme resolution, but it looks good enough there. If you click on menu, you can select what's actually displayed. I don't need fixes or NDBs, so I just keep airports and VORs. Heading up, height, auto height, I don't know what that does. And I guess this is good for if you're flying in mountainous terrain that you're not familiar with, or it's cruddy weather. But I found that I like to have autopilot here, just so I can see what's happening. And you can see right now we've leveled off at 23,000. Let's take a look here. And what I neglected to do was actually bump our speed up. So you can see it's 250 here. So I'm gonna actually bump it up to 270. You'll see our our throttles come up to 100%, 101%, and we're just gonna go max cruise here, whatever this thing can do. Should have done that after we hit 10,000 feet. I tried going a little bit faster indicated at different altitudes, but if you the plane starts to porpoise a little bit. I found that if you just leave this at 270, even though we won't reach 270, we might not here. We're actually at 23,000, we probably will, but if you're a little bit higher up, you'll never get the indicated 270. It'll just stay at 100%, and you'll just get max cruise. I think I had it up to like Mach 0.67 or something like that, which is our little Mach number right here. 6.1 right now, and still increasing a little bit. Alright, we can take the strobes off, just go to beacon. Nice view of the Central Valley here. I gotta adjust my views here a little bit. But this is the ones I've got set up so far. Nice shadow effect here from the clouds with Ultra Weather XP. Let's do another flyby here. Alright, I'm going to do an outside view here. So hopefully that's not too bad. It's a little loud, but we'll go back in a minute. Yeah, nice, right in between the two cloud layers. Alright, and I got my flight plan up here. This, you know, you can zoom out as much as you want. I don't know how many maps you need, you know. Go. Looking at turn over Imperial here. A little quirky there. I did fly a couple of, you know, SIDS and stars, and it made the turns all nice and smooth and everything. Wasn't as kind of quirky as that one was right there. Anyway, let's see, charts. You can have your charts if you have a Navigraph chart subscription. That'll go in here, or I think you can also put in manual charts in here too. I haven't played around with that yet. And you have your TCAS here. Airplanes around us. You can also have TCAS displayed on the the main display here, which I have turned off. Terrain, weather here. The interesting thing is, I wonder, is that the weather where we're at right now? I don't know. I don't know where this weather's coming from, but I'm assuming that's where it's displaying the weather. Waypoint info. You can look stuff up. A lot of stuff. Nice Avionics package, which is one of the things that kind of liked over the Cessna Citation. Now, a couple people have complained that the plane doesn't have a VNAV. Okay, well, the default sort of real-world plane doesn't have VNAV either. It's an option that you can get in the real-world airplane, and their avionics package obviously is totally different. This is Aerobask's custom-made just for this plane, instrument package. So the real-world one is a little bit different, well, quite a bit different than this. But you can look it up, see what the real one looks like. But overall, the VNAV is really only for your descent out of altitude. That doesn't mean that you can't do like RNAV approaches. You can, which maybe we'll demonstrate that one over here. I don't know, but excuse me. But yeah, it does RNAV approaches. It doesn't do VNAV descents and climbs. You kind of manage that yourself, again, by setting the altitudes and managing it, kind of old school, which actually makes it a little bit nicer, at least for me. You got something to do here a little bit. You can see it wasn't too difficult. If you're comfortable flying a GA airplane, half an hour screwing around with the avionics in here, and you'll be all set. You'll be fine. And again, I don't fly on Pilot Edge or VATSIM. Occasionally I do, but normally I don't. But all the frequencies, everything is kind of the same. A lot of clickable stuff, so you can just click the altitude, punch it in, right? Same thing with the vertical speed. Same thing with the airspeed. I haven't tried doing this. I don't know what it's doing, but get back. But yeah, also with the radios here, you can flip that. You can click on that, punch in another frequency. Same thing with the comms here. The mics, you can monitor 1 and 2. Hit ident. Hit the transponder over here if you want. Or, like I said, you use it down here. Tools, what do they got? Back, time, comm. I haven't figured out what this is. I haven't read up on it, but I'm assuming it's comm 1, A and A plus S. I'm not sure what that means. Comm 1 and 2. I'm guessing it's the same thing that you're doing here. Let's say comm 1 and 2. I have no clue. Just leave it on what it was. Time. Zulu local timer. Not sure where the time. Oh, the timer shows up right here. Hit start. So if you're doing some timed stuff. Otherwise, you got local time, Zulu time. That's kind of nice. I didn't see that before. Leave it on local time here. New messages. Hit back. And yeah, so a lot of people were complaining about the VNAV. Well, I think it's because most people don't know how to calculate or figure out their descent. Listen, if you go online and you just do, descent calculator, Google it, you'll get a bunch of them. Or you just kind of eyeball it, the way I do. at times. See, we're now heading over to Mohawk, and that's 31.5 miles away, so that's my cue right now. I'm going to take a quick break here. Let's see, we've got a back seat view here. You can't open a door when you're on the ground. Got the back seats over here. Got some lighting, although I haven't figured out how to turn on the lighting. I don't know if there's any like hot spots here. You have to do it through the menu here if you go to lights. Let's see, now those lights are on. Here we go. Alright, anyway, I will see, I'll leave you in here. Keep an eye on things. I will be right back. I'm going to go grab a coffee or a bottle of water or something. Be right back. Alright guys, back just in time for our turn. It looks like at Mohawk. I thought we were going to lose some of this cloud cover, maybe a little bit farther down in Phoenix. Still kind of nice to just buzz up above it here and know that we've got a little bit of room to play with here if we had some storms or something to go up and above. Let's take a look. Our fuel, yep, I think we had, I don't think we had full fuel when we took off. I should have checked that, but you can see our fuel flow down here. And I think these pop out forgot, because you can pop out with this little SIM card is, so you can actually pop that out and close it. I go in there. I was able to pop this out, although I don't know how I did it. There's a spot someplace you gotta click. Same thing with that, you can pop that one out. Anyway, what was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, fuel flow. So you can see there's our fuel flow as the engines are, auto throttle's adjusting it here. But up at, what are we, 23,000, we're bouncing around 100 gallons per hour. And up at 38,000, I was seeing something like 36 or something, so it went way down. So again, that's where it would be, you'd have to have a long enough flight to get you up there, because it's a good half an hour to get up there from takeoff to, you know, up to the high 30s there, 40,000 feet. Co-pilot sitting next to me over here, squeaking his toy. And let's see, I played around with the altitude change, got an in-op button here. Altitude change works pretty good. You just change your altitude here and click altitude change. It'll start going to that altitude and try to maintain your airspeed. So it's good on descents. We're almost there. What do we got here? 13 minutes. Pretty quick. I think we can start doing. Let's give that a try. Let's go down to 15,000 feet. So I'm just gonna punch it in here. 15,000 feet. Hit enter. Well, let's do altitude change. See how it works. See if anything happens. Nope, nothing. All right, let's go down. Down at 1,500 feet per minute here. Let's see if it's going to adjust it should adjust our speed because we're holding our speed, so I'm not quite sure what altitude change is doing. I could just hit, well, it is vertical speed. Kind of weird. Let's see, hit vertical speed, yeah. Again, new plane, still learning it, don't freak out. Get there. Oh, come on. I thought the visibility was going to clear up here. Now we can scroll through our flight plan here. Again, we're just going to vector ourselves around, and I think, what did we select here? Let's take a look at this. Remove arrival. Yep. And let's load arrival. What did we say we were going to do? We're going to do runway 21. I think we already selected the RNAV. We'll just select RNAV Delta. I haven't looked at it. Hit none for the transitions. See if we go to plan view, take a closer look at this. So Gila Bend, there we go, it's kind of turning us around, so that's cool. And then there, and then there. That's a little weird one, huh? Oh, okay, that's the mist. So into the airport, and then we go mist back up to Wallop. That's what that is. So kind of similar plan view, like if you're used to the to the what do you call it? The Zibo or the Airbus. Let's see, I think I left it on land view. There we go. Get that off. Back. The thing is, I'm using my scroll mouse here, and I use my scroll to zoom in and out, so if you're over one of these, you end up zooming the map instead of zooming in and out. Lighting's a little weird here, sorry, it's I don't have a light. Yeah, it's a cat. I don't know if you can hear that behind me. The cat's going bananas. Hopefully it doesn't jump up on the green screen again. And what are we going down? 15,000 feet. Let's keep that up. Again, got a good tailwind here, so we should be there in 11 minutes. And the cat is freaking out. The co-pilot is barking at the cat. This is going to get interesting. They're probably going to go bananas on me right on the approach. Looking a little clearer down here in Phoenix. So we should be coming up to, where are we going? Gila Bend. Almost at Gila Bend here. About 400. Little fly flying around me. 400 knots ground speed. It does have your the little blue bar right there. Shows you where you're when you're going to reach your altitude. See, so if I go, say, up a little bit farther. I just changed our rate of descent. You'll see the blue bar go up. There you go. Let's go a little bit slower. We'll go at 1,000 foot per minute. There you go. You can see it jumping up. Look out here at Gila Bend. There it is. We'll have to fly into Gila Bend Airport right there. You can see the shadows here from ultra weather. I cranked those up. Here's my settings. Shadow power 79%. Here's our turnover, Gila Bend. The winds here, though, it gives you the crosswind, so it gives you the crosswind component, but it doesn't give you the headwind, and I don't know if there's a way of changing that. I'd like to, it gives you the winds here, 229 at 47, crosswind component of 24. I'd like to see the headwind component also. Right over here. I love that ortho. Let's take a look at our weather here. Looks like some lower clouds there in the Phoenix area up ahead. Bring this up on my other screen. Let's see here. There we go. Let's take a look at KPHX. What do they got? A few at 8,000. Alright, not too bad. Where are we going? We're going to SDL. No, that's, yeah, Scottsdale. There we go. Yeah, wind's still out of the south at 9. And I forgot to take a look at my altimeter setting. Let me go ahead and do that. Which I realized, I don't think I set the altimeter. We're just at 2992. We'll take the altimeter at Scottsdale. Is 2992. Hey, we're good. Cross-check that with Phoenix. 2989. They're like literally right next door to each other. We'll split the difference. We'll call it 2990. So let's go right here. Go to 2990. Alright, so we got 36 miles. Once we get up to a Wallop intersection there, we'll get down to below the cloud level. Phoenix downtown. Just, well, we could have saw it for a second right there. Let's go ahead and let's do our descent down to 7,000. Right, descend down at 2,000 feet per minute. Gotta hit the minus. Don't forget that. I've done that a couple times. And let's see if we hit altitude change now. There we go. That's the way it works. Go ahead and slow it down to 260. I'm going to porpoise here around a little bit and see what it does. Let's turn up the engine noise just a little bit. It sounds really nice. This interior one, you know, with X-plane, it's always weird. Different airplanes do different things between exterior and interior. Generally, exterior is the engine noise, and interior seems to be like the wind noise on a lot of airplanes. So you'll see if I bring this all the way up. I hate that. I usually leave it either off or just barely on. Alright, we'll go to 70 on the engines here. Maybe a little bit lower. Alright, let me get adjusted here a little bit. I'm actually sitting on the floor here. I'm not sitting in a chair, so keep making myself comfy here. Yeah, there's Phoenix out the window. See the airport right there? Down a little bit faster here. Yeah, we'll slow down to 250. Oh yeah, 10,000. They were reporting what, 8,000 foot decks. That must be this stuff here. We got 4 minutes to arrival. Let's go ahead and we're actually going to bring the speed back down to 180. actually call this let's do 170, and you can see the engines will start spooling back here. The plane does tend to slow down pretty quick, so bear that in mind. Kind of get used to it a little bit here. You can actually keep your speed up pretty close to the airport, and then you can see it's definitely slowing down, and we're going down at 2,500 foot per minute. Go ahead and zoom in here just a little bit on these. So we're actually gonna we'll let this do the turn here at Willup. Let us take it into the airport, and then we'll vector us a little bit here. Actually, we're going to go down a little bit lower here. Let's go to 3,000 feet. You can see that our airspeed's really going to start dropping off here. Go 2,500 minus enter altitude change. That descent down. You know, it looks a little bit nicer here. We got out of some of that cloud cover. Coming over the greater Phoenix area here, north side. This is Sun City West, all that stuff. Retirement area. Maybe I'll end up there one day. And what actually do we go with? Well, I forgot what this airport is right up ahead of us here. Let's bring up AviTab here. Over to my Phoenix sectional chart. It's not Goodyear. What is it? Deer Valley. That's what it is. Turn around Deer Valley here at 3,000 feet. See how fast we're coming down and how it's holding the airspeed. Kind of reduce that a little bit. So I haven't flown into Scottsdale quite a bit, like once or twice only, so bear with me here. And we're going to go around Deer Valley here. I guess we could have stayed up a little bit higher. At DVT. That makes sense. What's this out here? And I did notice it does, the auto throttle does have a little bit of problem holding airspeed. So don't rely on it. You can see I've got 270 set, and I don't know if it's just whatever the mechanics of it. You can see it's actually dropped this down to 255, and it'll start bringing the power back up. It'll get us back up to 70, but it does fluctuate quite a bit. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for our landing here. Let's get all our lights on, strobes on. Should have had those on a little bit earlier. And we'll come back down. What's our speed? We'll come back to 250. Grab that in a turn. There we go. Alright, airport should be up ahead of us. And what's our heading here? 110. Well, we're actually going to land. Was it the opposite direction? It's the runway. I forgot. And we're going to come down this way. So, no, okay, I guess that's right. The pictures on here aren't exactly, I think, correct. I mean, like the airport runway on here. Alright, let's go ahead and bring the gear down. see how it holds our airspeed here. Right, looking for the airport. Wondering if it's that's it right there. Where is it? Where's our airport? Find it soon. What is it? 5 miles out, so it should be just over the other side of these buildings here. Now there it is, right there. It's kind of right in the middle, and you can see the runway is oriented this way, which is not what's showing up on the map right here. Which is why it was the approach actually takes us here, and then we turn 2-1 coming down this way. Go again. Alright, so what I'm going to do, since we are VFR here, visual, I got the airport in sight. I'm going to go ahead and autopilot off, yaw dampener off, flight director off. Bring our throttle back here a little bit, start slowing down. What I'm going to do is follow this, this canal right here, come around, enter a downwind leg for the runway here. Go flaps, first notch. Get a decent downwind here. About 030. That's the opposite of 210, our runway right there. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have a crosswind, like I said, any way we go. Follow this freeway right around. Just trimming up. Want to keep about 110 knots, 110 knots coming in. As I speed up. Bring the power back a little bit more, and literally this airplane flies like a Cessna, but smoother. Alright, let's go full flaps. Okay, gear down, 3 green. Flaps coming down, waiting for the land. There we go. Here's our runway. This plane literally touches down so nice. It's got the trailing link landing gear, and you cannot screw up a landing in this thing. They're all butter, even with this crosswind. And you can see we're going 103 knots. Bring the power back a little bit more. Actually, power all the way back here. 90 knots for the approach with full flaps. Fast and a little bit high here. Bring in a little bit of power. Alright, power all the way back, and literally just wants to float on down. 63 foot per minute. No thrust reversers, no speed brakes, just gotta hold it on the center line. It's braking in there. Alright, flaps up. And I have no idea where the FBO is around here. It's another one of those concrete airports here. Everything's concrete. We'll turn off right here. And again, this plane definitely needs a little bit of power to keep taxiing, so I found right around in the mid to high 40s on N2 will keep you taxiing. And depending on how high up you are, sometimes a little bit more. For just the terrain, you can see I'm in my 50s here, just trying to keep it taxiing at a decent speed. Alright, landing lights can come off. Got a button for that. Strobes can come off. Not sure where we're gonna park. I think I need some scenery here. This is all the generic buildings from the Southwest scenery pack. Stay on that center line. Keeps wanting to weather vane into the wind there. Well, yeah, Scottsdale I'm sure is a lot nicer than this. This looks pretty boring. Not even, I don't see any FBO unless there's something back that way. Generic West Coast looking apartment buildings. Tell you what, we'll stop it right here. We're gonna park right over here. Alright, park your brake on. And let's see. Taxi lights can come off. Leave the beacon on. We're going to leave the plane running, and then let's do a replay. So, let's see. Jump into replay mode here. A little bit farther. All right, there we go. Let's do an exterior view here. Sorry, I think I had my mic off. Anyway, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and hello to all the new subscribers. Hope you enjoy that flight. Till next time, take care.